So this is a long recording. The police department plays games. They dangle help that they pretend, and then someone's committing a crime right now by the window. A staff at this location. They wait and do petty things. Anyone willing to do law enforcement can see it. This is the person that came, knocked on the door, said that they wanted to help and wanted to give me mental health treatment. Then came, knocked on the door. I told him I was busy. He came anyway. Something is making these people break up charges. They're not doing it on their own. So someone leader in this environment is listing parties that live in this community to rake up charges with them. I've seen it in other locations. So he's waiting for the perfect moment to do petty things. Like I said, anyone can see on camera footage. So he came, I told him I was busy. He came by anyway, a second time. Then I opened the door and told him to come in. I said, "Are you going to come in?" Letting bugs and things in. He said, "You didn't tell me to come in." Nothing. Back to the insanity that I'm about to the recording. I have to re-record it because they deliberately did things in malice, trying to expose things, and then my device did it too on its own, and malice exposing numbers when I was automated system glitched and it wanted you to see numbers to have me redo this. It had my contacts exposed when I was on the call. New report today. What happened to the other past reports that you've taken from me? This is Victoria Sherry Hornstein. No investigator hasn't called for any of my reports, and they've been serious. And then when some kind of way the police knew my device was malfunctioning before I did, and he slandered me, Rodriguez 8284. I told him I had things on camera footage, and he demanded that I was mentally ill, and then hung up. I said, I have the documentation and I have, it recorded and it's been on camera footage, but he still demanded that I need to go to Gulf Bend, which is criminal. But he did this when my device stopped recording them. And that was Rodriguez 8284. So what would you do, Sherry Hornstein, when your abusers is the police department? What would you do?
Go to a different agency.
What if it's a jurisdiction that I'm in? What if it happens in all jurisdictions?
You still have other agencies that you can go to, federal agencies.
What are the federal agencies?
You can go to the Attorney General, FBI, the Texas Rangers if it's here in Texas.
Okay, so a possibility is the Attorney General, FBI, and Texas Rangers.
That come to mind, yes.
Okay, so each time I'm trying to report my abuser, they leave his name out 30 times and won't investigate stalking. And it's because of havoc in my life. Someone stalked me and found my supervisor. My supervisor was already trying to set me up and blatantly lie, and I had to text and try to show it to the police because I wanted to prove armies full of people pathologically lied on me to railroad my life and violate it. I was fleeing for my life and couldn't get into shelters on pathological lies. So it was vital that I had my job to keep my apartment and car. But my supervisor, as well as multiple different other parties, blatantly lied. And at work, I went in and tried to get it resolved because she locked me out of a group chat, keeping me from telling other people what she had done in the other parties. So then when I went into the office, I told management what had went on, and she did what? And then I showed him the text. He said, wait a minute. She did what? I said, yes. He said, I'll handle this right now. Someone came off the streets from nowhere, talked to this man 20 minutes. Then he wouldn't talk to me again. So nonetheless, that happened, that transpired. I went to the police, they sent Right Care for Mental Illness out. So what I'm trying to say, and then after that blew over, then they scammed that someone off the internet found them and they had to terminate me, which was highly traumatic because I knew that getting help from locations wasn't a possibility for me. The government enforces that I don't get help. So that was terrifying. So nonetheless, they scammed for me trying to report my daughter's abuse, and I lost everything. So the reason why I want to do something about stalking, if there's a possibility, I know a lot of things have become impossible for me to obtain that other parties get. I'm not really happy about that. It's taken freedoms away and constitutional rights, but nothing's repeatedly done. If someone repeatedly finds me online and has done all this, is that stalking? I've noticed a common theme. Because sometimes, like, I'm panicking. Yes, the person that's threatening me, attacking me right on the line. Someone's attacking me. What? Someone's attacking me. I can't hear you. Someone's attacking me. Please help. Click. Call back. Same party answer the phone. Says, I'm gonna get you, B. I'm gonna get you. You hear me? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. On the 911 hearing the same thing. You don't hear them threatening me? No. Click. This is what my life is. There's a voice in the state. Please. There's a voice in the state. Click.
I said it's a poison.
I'm being robbed. I'm being attacked. Click. You there? This YouTube channel can't be real.
Yes, I'm here.
I don't think that, how is it? But maybe you just will kill somebody on the internet. Maybe you guys just have that power to abuse. Maybe, like I said, I'm just not getting that people with badges and guns and law enforcement can rack up felonies to kingdom come and nothing is ever done. Maybe that's just how it is. And I'm just trapped in it now to see how things really were, and I just didn't know it. The government officials can rob someone blind because it's government officials. And other people go to prison. But if you're the law, you can rob people to kingdom come, and there's never any consequences. Every single day you can rob them. Every opportunity you get. $1 here, $2 there, $300 there, $500 there. That adds up. You'll never see consequences when you have badges and guns doing it. So is that how it is, Sherry Hornstein, in this country? What was your badge number again?
6288.
6288?
Yes, ma'am.
52 or 62?
62.
Is that how it is when you're law enforcement? You can just repeatedly break the law and never see accountability for it? It's like harassment, low-key. Tormented. We can do it.
She won't comment.
Isn't this a crime, though, Sherry Hornstein? If you're sabotaging a report, aren't you sugarcoating that you're actively committing a crime? Stalking is a felony, and tampering with evidence is indeed a felony. So anyone on YouTube with common sense knows your behavior is showing a pattern that you are indeed crooked, and you know these things are authentically happening. And the alibi that you choose when the going gets tough, you just start to get the ignoring or hanging up.
So what prompted the call? I don't know if I already said this.
It's been 10 years and you haven't had consequences.
They're not returning my calls. I'm trying to put an ad in the paper and can't.
So what do I do that you're committing a crime right now? And then adding insult to injury, playing mind games. You know what I think? I think that people aren't really finding me. I think that it's you guys. And I think you guys are strategically strategizing these fake people to conceal crimes that you're committing. I think all the people in the comments are you. I think that before I got the YouTube channel, when you were coming on your own, pushing and shoving me and violating me and then listening to other parties, you first came on your own and then had other people commit crimes for you. I don't think those YouTube people in the comments are real. I think it's you. I think the people that assaulted me and did all these things, you set up. I think the hit and run, all that madness, the person hit me, I think you are fully aware of it. You probably paid the people to do it. I think the threats, the prank calls, all of it, I think the government is behind. CPS workers taking my child's freedom, the scams, the people setting up fake relationships with my kids. I think you did all of it. I think you're enlisting my provider into committing crimes with you to help you free you from crimes that you repeatedly keep committing. I think you know I can't receive my phone calls. I think you're behind it. I think you guys are very arrogant. I think you're probably hacking my YouTube channel too and controlling what people can view on it.
Because stopping someone's communication, like the terroristic threat said, is a felony. You just can't stop someone from stops their calls and communication because you're crooked. It's criminal.
Ms. Clark, what is your address now?
So are you going to continue to tamper with evidence? I asked you if someone doing all of that was stalking. You don't want me to know?
So all this is to prove that my phone is controlled. It's impossible for me to get back. Someone has a job. If someone reports that to you, it was fruitless. I just ended the call with her. If someone reports to you that I'm talking to scammers, calling
Yes,
and
I like to
receiving
report
calls,
crimes that
you
Victoria
never
Police
believe it.
Department are committing. I like to report Victoria Police.
Okay, ma'am, you're calling on 911.
Right. Someone is saying that they found my location, said they were going to shoot me in the head, and all these other crimes. Where do I call?
Okay, and so where are you at? So I can have an officer come talk to you, ma'am.
They are not able to talk to me because those are the people that are threatening me. I want to report the police.
You're trying to report the police? Okay, so I show that you're out in the county.
What's the address of your emergency?
I wanted to report corruption with Victoria Police that put my safety at risk. I received death threats. Someone has found my safe location multiple different times. And
So your safety was put at risk by who?
I have moved multiple different. What was your name?
It's the Victoria County Sheriff's Office.
That's your name, Victoria Sheriff's County's office?
Yeah, but how can I help you?
What's your name?
I don't give my name.
Well, you have an obligation to. You can't exclude that information. You have to give me some kind of identifying
What's your
information.
emergency, ma'am? You're calling on 911.
I want to know who I'm speaking with, ma'am. It's misconduct for you not to tell me who you are.
Can I ask your name?
It's Kiana, and I'm asking you yours. This is abusive.
Okay, how can we help you?
What's your name?
My name is Linda. How can I help you? What's the
Okay.
address?
Do you have an employee ID?
I don't have one.
Okay. I'd like to report Victoria Police and multiple different police departments for repeatedly committing crimes and being out of control and not being held accountable. So I have their names, and they're putting my safety at risk. I have value,
Okay,
and I don't
how's your-
deserve
how's
for
your
people that
safety
have
at
badges
risk
and
right
guns
this moment
to repeatedly
by
rack up
calling
crimes.
911?
I'm sorry?
How are you in danger at this moment? You're on
Because I'm getting
911.
death threats, and someone has found my
Okay.
safe location.
All right, well, I'm going to call you back on non-emergency. Since
Okay.
If you're getting threats.
Okay.
One moment. I'll call you back.
Okay. Hello.
So let me pause this. If someone is committing a crime, you can call 911 to report an active crime. The crime is that someone is interrupting my calls. That's an active crime that was happening at that moment. They're interrupting my calls. That is a felony to interrupt someone's communication.
Yes, this is Linda with the Victoria County Sheriff's Office.
Yes. So I don't know what to do because I have been deprived of law enforcement 10 years. There's been child abuse involved, hit and runs, someone pulled
I'm going to pause it again. I want you to see what's going on in these calls. I'm wanting to do commentary now. This is a deliberate pattern to have me relive trauma over and over again. At the very beginning of this, they told me that mental health providers are helping them. They're all strategizing. Have you ever seen an Olympic team, how they make sure they get the best shoes, they get the best athletic wear and everything so they can have the best run, or, strategies like that to win the gold medal? Well, they have teams to try to frame someone with mental illness. They have mental health providers, and they strategize on what they can do every single day to terrorize and torment someone and not be held accountable for it. The first thing that they want to start with every day is electronics. Whatever you do, they're prepared and waiting for you. If you make a purchase, to be trapped, they know how it feels to be trapped in everything you do. Purchase online, being trapped and dividing you $2 there, $20 there, $15 there, knowing there's nothing that you can do. The IRS owes me around $10,000 right now that I can't get, and I'm homeless. Social Security Administration, I don't know how much. I estimate 15, 20,000. I don't know. It could be a little less. I have no clue. I don't know how much the Attorney General Child Support Division really owes me. They defrauded me out of funds too. So let me go back to this.
knives on me, guns, attacked, that ran off roads, trapped on trains and buses, actually hit and runs of murder, and all kind of law enforcement has been denied. I'm not safe to live here. And I don't know if I move. I call year after year. I've tried to call it, reach the news. Nobody's returning my call. This is a great story, but it's happened years. I'm being, you guys deprive me out of funds, be accomplices to this insanity. I know where the integrity is nowhere to be found around me with all jurisdictions of law enforcement. Everywhere I'm at, they're always criminals.
Okay, and what was your name again, ma'am?
It's Ken.
I think.
It won't let me press 3.
If you
It's
would like to
glitching.
use our name lookup directory,
So I'm
press
trying to
9.
call the
All
newspaper,
others, please wait on the line or press
and it's
0 to
glitching.
be connected
This is
with
where
a
I couldn't
company
record it
operator.
because it showed
If
all my
you would like
contact
this
list
menu
and mouse.
repeated, press the pound key.
It deliberately does that. That caused me to have to record things.
Thank you for calling the Victoria admin in our newsroom. Press 3.
Okay, I'm not going to let this record. It's irrelevant.
For
I couldn't
classified
get a hold of it
advertising,
anymore.
press
So I
5.
just fast forwarded to
If
the
you
call
would
with the
like
police
to use our
department.
name lookup directory. This is Linda with the Victoria County Sheriff's Office.
Yes. So I don't know what to do.
So this is something that I have to deal with. I don't think it's necessary for me to. So I'm rewinding it. It's fast forwarding. Then I'm rewinding it. The button's disappearing. This is how my life is. So it's taking me 5 minutes because the button's disappearing. The line's disappearing that I'm trying to rewind it. Then it's fast forwarding. And it sees that I'm desperately trying to get the right position to play the video. And it just glitches all over the place. And this is how my life is. I just have to keep taking it.
How are you?
This is the closest I
Not
can
that
get.
great. How do you spell your last name?
Schustereit, Schustereit.
That was a little fast for me. SCHU?
Oh, are you writing it down?
Yes.
Okay, it's SCHUSTEREIT.
Okay, and your badge number.
660.
Okay, so each time that I have evidence of stalking, government officials have chosen to commit crimes and cover for it. I've made 300 and something reports, and it puts my safety at risk. I've been ran off roads. There's been assault with a deadly weapon. My son was hit with a car deliberately. Someone hit me. The car have sped up like they were going to hit me and friends of mine. My device is hacked. I repeatedly get defrauded out of funds. There's glitches with my IRS stimulus checks and tax returns, glitches with Social Security payments, and there's been glitches with my child support payments. So, but the problem I'm calling today regarding is that I've been placing multiple different calls to place an ad because the police department has repeatedly not heard me. In each location I've been calling for years, they're not calling me back to get anything resolved. So I've called to give newspapers a story and also to place an ad, and they're not calling me back. And this has been a pattern that has followed me. I think there's something amiss with my device. I reported it multiple different times, and it's just that the police department refuses to investigate it. So that's what my call was about today. I reported to YouTube that someone has posted an environment. I'm fleeing this situation that you've heard about, but they're posting online where I'm at. That's not safe for me. And is it stalking if each time I relocate to another location that someone finds me and posts online and sabotages? They post online where I attended church. They posted online. My supervisor said that some people from YouTube found her. They found me at hotels. And it cost me my job. I was, having difficulty getting shelter stays. So my apartment at that point was critical for me, and I fought it to keep it for dear life and my job. But that's not the only job where people pathologically lied on me. They did it. I couldn't find another job, but I was able to get a job at McDonald's. They pathologically lied on me there. The supervisor had to terminate some people, and she said, I don't know why they keep lying on you, but it will be no one else working here if I keep letting people go that lie on you. She was right. I don't know what possessed all these armies full of people to pathologically lie on me and not realize that that's wrong, no matter who's telling them to do it.
Okay. So what would you like for me to do for you?
What would be your job task? So to keep you out of jail. What would be your responsibility for me reporting countless felonies so you don't risk charges for yourself?
Well, no, I'm okay. So I'm not sure what you reported what you're talking about, you've already reported this with the PD, and they're not investigating it. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I haven't been able to report that my phone is hacked. Someone found me at my new location, so this puts my safety at risk. And stalking.
Where do you live at?
Why do you want to know?
Because that depends on which jurisdiction you fall under. And
It's this jurisdiction. They transferred me over. She had found she saw the information and said this was the right jurisdiction.
I'm sorry, what was that?
This is the right jurisdiction.
This is whose jurisdiction?
The jurisdiction. She said that you were the right jurisdiction for me.
Who's that?
Okay, how did you know to call me?
My dispatch.
Then that would be who it is.
Okay, but so what are you wanting to do what are you wanting me to do for you?
I just would keep you out of jail. I mean, don't you want to do your job task to not go to jail? Is that something that you're interested in? Not committing crimes?
Well, correct. I am in law enforcement.
Right. So I would think that common sense that you would be interested in keeping yourself from going to jail, right?
Well, of course.
Right. So of course, if that is common sense,
not a challenge, but
yeah, that's common sense. So I would want you to abide by the law. I'm reporting crimes to you.
Okay.
And it is criminal if I'm reporting crimes repeatedly over and over and people tamper with evidence and don't do anything to report crimes that are repeatedly committed. That is criminal. But people keep sugarcoating crimes. So, yeah, I just want you to abide by the law. It keeps yourself safe, you know. I don't want you to be faced with jail time.
You called me to talk to me about me not going to jail.
Well, I reported crimes, and I wanted to remind you that tamper with evidence is a felony. I can't demand you to do something that you're not willing to give me. Maybe you want to go to jail. Maybe you don't think that you'll ever see accountability, so you're not afraid of having to go to jail.
Well, this is the first time you and I have ever spoken.
Well, that's when you ask me what I want you to do. I want you to abide by the law and not risk prison time sentences, jail time. That's what I want.
Well, I intend on doing that. Is there anything else that you want from me today?
Well, if you don't want to risk jail sentences, what would you do? I mean, other than that, if you're abiding by the law and I reported all these crimes, so what are we going to do from here? If I'm not getting my calls, and once again, if someone is finding me at these locations, they cause problems at my job. Finding me, they found me at hotels. Is that stalking?
Depends. There's some.
So there's another thing that they do. I want you to see all these strategies. Prolong the call. Why? It's annoying. You keep her on the phone 30. It's about perfectly planned. Just so annoying. You think annoyance is just minimal, but they're deliberately causing a nervous breakdown and strategizing it in ways to get away with crimes. They need to set up you to have a nervous breakdown. They need for you to be angry in this rant and raging person, and then them be like, I don't know what happened. It's just she's just a ticking time bomb. Nothing happened. And it's just from nowhere. What's going? So this is deliberate mind games. This is what I'm repeatedly keep reporting. So it's to strategize with Amazon, multiple different places to keep me on the call to annoy. It play mind games. Did they get the payment? They didn't get the payment. Did they get the payment? Are you going to get the package? Or are you not going to get the package? Are they going to mail it? Or are they not going to mail it? Are you going to get the Uber Eats? Or are you not going to get the Uber Eats? Or are they going to defraud you out of funds? I just want you to see it's deliberate. Okay, let me go ahead and finish playing. This happened when I tried to play it. The play button disappeared.
I have to ask a lot more questions.
Okay, I don't want them to. It's jeopardizing my safety. It costs me to lose my job. It costs me to get put out of places. It costs someone to deliberately hit me with a car. It costs me to be locked on trains and buses and blacklisted from shelter.
I'm not sure that what's happened is necessarily criminal or not. I'm not saying it's not criminal, but I can't say that it is
without
a crime. A lot more information.
Okay, so what is your definition of stalking, to your knowledge, that you're sure of?
Well, my definition of stalking is not one that matters, and
it would be because if you're not sure,
that matters. But the definition of stalking given by the penal code is really the only one that matters.
Okay.
So we have to go by that one to be fair and just about everything.
Okay.
I may not like it, or I may think you're stalking me, but my interpretation of stalking is not necessarily the legal definition of stalking. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, what's the penal code for stalking?
Do what?
What's the penal code for stalking that we're going to go by?
Okay, so let me just read it to you. It'll make it a lot easier.
Okay.
That way you're not taking interpretation of anything that I've said correctly or anything like that. Stalking is a person commits an offense if the person on more than one occasion and pursuant to the same scheme or course of conduct that is directed at a specific other person knowingly engages in conduct that, so here's one, constitutes an offense under section 4207, or that the actor knows or reasonably should know that the other person will regard as threatening. So they'll act in a manner that's threatening to you, bodily injury or death of the other person, or that an offense will be committed against, and then it goes a member of a person's family, an individual with whom the other person has a dating relationship with. These are all your family violence definitions, or the other person's property, okay? Now, the second clause in here is causes the other person, a member of the person's family or household, or an individual whom the person has a dating relationship, which is another part of the family violence, is to be placed in fear of bodily injury, death, or in fear that an offense will be committed against the other person, a member of that person's family or household, or an individual for whom the other person has a dating relationship, or the other person's property, or then the other clauses, or to feel harassed, terrified, intimidated, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended, and would cause a reasonable person under circumstances similar to the circumstances of the other person to fear bodily injury or death of the person, or the other clauses that were stated above, which would be fear that the offense will be committed against another person's family member, household, or dating relationship, or fear that the person will commit other person's property, or to feel harassed, intimidated, abused. So an offense under this section is a felony of the third degree, except if the offense is a second degree if the actor has previous conviction. So if it's a repeat offender, it would be a second degree felony. Under the section, offense under any of these following laws.
But even the minimal, is still a felony. That's no misdemeanor charge for that, right?
Yes, the minimal is a third degree on this one. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's a felony charge, and that's what's happening. But some kind of way, I reported it 30 or 40 times, and it's been disappeared about 30 or 40 times.
Okay, so if in an instance like that, what you would do is, who did you report this to?
I'm reporting it to you today, right now. I have evidence.
Well, you reported it 20 or 30 times, you're saying, correct?
No, I'm giving you a pattern of behavior. There was a pattern of behavior today.
Okay, you have reported this already, have you not?
I'm not being heard. This is a repeated pattern. I'm reporting it today. I'm reporting it with you today. I'm on the phone with you now. I'm trying to report that someone found my safe location and stalking.
If there's another agency working on an offense, we don't cross paths like that.
No, that's not what's happening. But I've noticed that officers have scammed. You said that you wouldn't break the law. You promised me that you wouldn't break the law and you didn't want to go to prison. You said that up front.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to.
Okay, well then I'm doing a report right now. You're misunderstanding me, and a lot of people, they make my reports really difficult intentionally. I'm making a report that someone is stalking me, and I have evidence of it. The other law enforcement agency racked up felonies for themselves. You said you wouldn't. He hung up in my face, slandered me when my device stopped recording him. He knew. And he wouldn't take the report. I told them there was police reports of it. They wouldn't give me the reports on. And it was also video footage and camera footage at the location. So multiple different parties have tried to tell the police that I've been attacked, ran off roads, all kind of different things. They've tried to over and over to tell the police, and all the police does is commit crimes and say, we didn't see it, we don't know, to keep themselves out of prison.
Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm listening to you, but I need to get into my office. I'm in my car. I've been driving on the phone with you. So give me 1 second. I'll get right better.
Okay.
Bear with me. I'm walking in my office now.
Kiana, my name Kiana Clark.
No, your YouTube channel.
Yes, it's Kiana Clark Peace on YouTube. My name and Peace. It shows how I'm systematically robbed when I make online purchases. I was systematically robbed off my SMI One card, and I went to Grand Prairie Police to show them that they robbed me so much they hid my balance. And then I tried to check my balance online because it kept glitching and funds would disappear, like sometimes $200 and something, and I was homeless fighting for my life. That's a lot of money. And then I showed them how I'm trying to, because this is vital information. I showed them how on my receipt that they hid my balance.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask some information in a series.
I don't know why people don't want me to talk about that. I guess that's a red flag. It really happened. If someone knows that's trying to tamper with evidence, then you know it really happened. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
What is your date of birth?
So the balance was hid on the receipt, so I couldn't see I was being robbed. I've never seen anything like that. Each time I checked my balance, it was hid. So I didn't know, they didn't want me knowing how much money was on my card. I don't know how they could have pulled that off at multiple different ATMs.
What's your address?
Can you not repeat the address? People do that all the time in Malice. If you got the address, then there will be no need to repeat it, right?
Correct.
But people do it all the time in Malice. They just from nowhere, CPS, all kind of parties. We went over the address 15 minutes prior, and then they'll say the address again from nowhere in Malice. So I'm glad. Thank you. So you need some more clarity. Okay, what else did you need? I'm reporting stalking, and I have evidence of it, and there's a history of stalking.
Okay, when did this happen?
Right now there's a YouTube channel devoted to exposing my location.
There's a YouTube channel devoted to exposing your location?
That's correct.
Okay, and what
you guys do?
I had to re-record.
Say things. I mean, I get it. You're doing it.
He
I don't
wanted
think
to say
the
the
part.
address.
I think it's you
blaming
it on other parties, but I think you're systematically violating me as a government.
So let me pause
strategies on how.
I already knew that he had said the channel in Malice, so I gave him the channel. Then I started recording again, and then he said the channel again in Malice.
I pulled that off. That's why you repeatedly cover for felonies. You keep racking up nothing. It's pointless. But nonetheless, so what's the con this time to keep me from law enforcement? You have a YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel exposing my safe location, like you just tried to do.
I'm sorry, what? You lost me on that.
Sure I did. What is the relevancy of this call? Reporting multiple different felonies to the police department, stalking, corruption, all kind of felonies. What can be done? As you with you in law enforcement, you claim that you don't want to go to prison.
But it's not about me going to prison.
It is, because if you could have committed a crime, you do risk going to prison.
Sure, hey,
people with badges and guns and government officials go to prison all the time. I'm not quite certain why the people around me think that it could never happen. It happens all that you guys should be more aware than anyone with dealing with law enforcement. That is, you could easily go to prison.
Okay, so is this about you or is this about me not going to prison?
Well, it's about me because if you don't abide by the law, it affects me.
Okay, well, we can trust that I'm going to abide by the law because that's what I do. So let's worry about you for right now.
Okay.
Is this a cell phone number that?
I'm not really sure. My life has been pretty bizarre. Like I always had my kids, always, and it wasn't a problem for me to have my kids. But this particular time, I was going to do something like that wasn't like me, and I didn't have my kids. And I said that I told my sister I was going out with her. She said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." And then I got locked into my apartment. This happened, I think, 2011, 12, or 2010, 11. And then I called the apartment complex. I was really a doormat. I called the apartment complex and I said, "Yeah, I'm locked into my apartment." The apartment complex was new. And I said, "I'm locked into my apartment. We can't get you out. We're busy. We'll do it Monday."
It was Friday.
I really couldn't go out properly because the balcony, I had a balcony, but it was a ledge and it was a big gap and I could have hurt myself. But thinking back on that's a lawsuit. You can't lock someone in their apartment over a whole weekend. And it was business hours.
They were open Saturday.
They worked on the weekends. They left me trapped in my apartment.
Friday till Monday.
So then he comes to let me out Monday and says, "Are you ready to get out of jail?" And that was that funny to him, but like I said, I was a doorman. And then I had mail things coming in vital.
They were supposed to drop my kids off Sunday. They couldn't because I wasn't going to let them bring my child over the ledge. I said, I'm locked into the apartment. And then people around me normalized insanity. They knew why I was a doormat. They knew I was targeted before I did. So they had to keep my child because the child was in a carrier and they couldn't do the carrier over this ledge.
And then they said something happened and they changed the mailbox. I had a check in the mailbox.
Kiana.
So if you're going to,
he's trying to cover for the when I moved, they locked the mailbox. This isn't the only location that did. They locked the mailbox in Malice, 2 locations when I had checks in them. So typically they wait a little while before they change the mailboxes up, but they changed the mailboxes in Malice too early, and that let me know that something was amiss.
When it's going to continue to cover for crimes, I don't know what to say. You said when did it begin, and I don't know why an apartment complex would lock me in my apartment and risk a lawsuit.
So that could be a bad thing, but that happened in 2011, you're saying?
But I'm trying to show you a history of how bizarre my life has been, and the hotel tried to do it in 2018, locked me in the hotel. This was Super 8 in East Dallas. So they locked me in when I had an Uber, a taxi ready to pick me up. And it wasn't easy getting these taxis. Now it's virtually impossible to get taxis. So nonetheless, they said that it was something amiss and they locked me in how do you get locked into a hotel room? But nonetheless, it happened. So they said, call back in 30 minutes. They were busy. I called back in 30 minutes. They said, we're busy. We're still busy. Wait. I said, I'm calling the police. They let me out and gave me a free room. Now places put me out and start arguments when they're violating me, like someone's setting it up. So now when they, for example, in Austin, I fled to Austin and I stayed at the Sonesta or something like that. So Sonesta would not give me a remote. I like to watch TV and relax. So someone that knows me knows that would be something important for me to do at a hotel room, because it makes me take my mind off the drama in my life. So that's one of the first things I do: shower and watch TV, because I'm terrorized on my devices. So they would not give me a remote. They scammed that they came and fixed the remote, but it wasn't working. But I experience strange things like this all the time. So at 1 a.m. for asking for the remote, the police came and tried to put me out the hotel. I said, I'm tired of this. Take me to jail. That was 2024. Yes, 2024. I said, take me to jail because you keep doing this and nobody's holding you accountable. And then they didn't want to take me to jail. They wanted me to be afraid for my life and on the street. So they came and removed me the next day. And they said a YouTuber found them, the same people that I wanted to report for stalking me. Multiple different times I've been put out at multiple different locations. YouTubers, they're claiming YouTubers are finding family members, churches, all these different people. But when I didn't have a YouTube channel, the police were finding me on their own. Coming to bus stops, coming to restaurants, coming on their own. But now that I have a YouTube channel, YouTubers are doing it. And they're telling me things that didn't happen, and then they're forgetting that they don't make sense. They're strangers, and sometimes these YouTubers are telling me things like what's happening in my environment. They forget and don't know. Sometimes they're telling me what's going on in the bathroom, telling me what's going on in shelters, and I'm not telling them, and they know. So that means that these YouTubers are legally monitoring me in my living environments and in bathrooms. The YouTubers have even told me what was going on in my jail cells. And then when I remind them the things that they're not supposed to know, then they ignore me.
How did they tell you what was going on in your jail cell?
For example, one of them said that if you were so afraid for your life, you wouldn't be using your air fryer. When I was calling the police, and I was using my air fryer. One time on a chat that they told me what kind of body wash that I was using. See, I like Victoria's Secret and things like that. So at multiple different locations, they steal it. People watch me and steal it. And then they'll tell me what I'm using. Like something happened to the Bath and Body wash that I had. So now I'm using body wash from a dollar store. They told me what I was using. And then they forget that they are exposing things that they should know. They said you using body wash from a dollar store, and it was dollar store body wash. But some of my Bath and Body Works was spilled, and it had no explanation for spilling, because I'm very particular with my items. And since I've been targeted, strange experiences like this occur quite frequently. And in fact, at Oxford Street Shelter, I saw security opening my things, doing something like that in Malibu. At the bridge, they opened water and had it spill all over my clothes and stole my blanket. They have cameras all over the place, but somehow I'm repeatedly denied law enforcement. They tried to steal my bag with multiple different phones in it and a tablet. And another time my phone was stolen. A bag was stolen with a tablet in it. They stole other bags with clothes in it around 3 times. I told
They had a
security,
laptop at the
security, they said they didn't know. I called the police. They put me out and recovered my items when the police department came.
I never
And then
recovered
put me
my
out the
clothes
shelter.
and the laptop.
And then my phone was stolen too. And the police walked off while I was talking, trying to report my device stolen. I had got the new phone that day. And all of it's on camera footage for anyone willing to do law enforcement. I'm not quite sure why security would rob me blind and stay free doing so. So I'm hunted like an animal, and they make wait for any opportunity to take advantage of it. This same security at this same location said that he was going to cut the power off because I wanted to charge my phone in the whole entire shelter. A charging area was another charging area. Security came in and bullied people and told people no one can charge.
So I want to give commentary. What's happening is someone that's sadistic and has a psychopathic behavior is enlisting government officials and security into crimes. So they come there and he needs bold people. I need someone bold on my team that's really willing to do the job. So these security go in and they're criminals. Okay, so the security go in, they steal, they go through your bag, they do petty things. They'll come up to you and at an outlet and say, "Look, you can't charge there. If you charge there again, I'll cut the power. You'll never." It's designed for the intimidation and torment and trauma. I'm charging for my life because I get threatened repeatedly over and over. It's vital for me to charge and use my device. I'm not calling to just have a casual conversation with someone or doing things like that. I'm fighting for my life. So they know that. So at the charging station or at outlets, I'll cut the power off. Nobody will have power. And then it's a place that people have charged years. But since I'm on property, they're bold enough to demand that no one charges there. And then they do all kind of petty things, like at Mid-Coast. I got up at 3 because of all these different scams and got up deliberately at 3 a.m. to wash. Nobody was washing. I know people wouldn't believe the story, but they went off in their staff. I believe it was staff because that was the only person up. And then they cut the dryer on, but I know how my life is, like something was in the only dryer. So I opened it knowing how my life is, and sure enough, there was nothing in it. They just do things like that. This is how they want me
and
to
they force women to sleep on a concrete floor.
This is at the bridge.
But the men didn't have that. But for some kind of rape, I don't know who the women were I was sleeping with on the concrete floor. The men had a mat on the floor. But these strange women that were acting peculiar and letting security terrorize us slept on the concrete floor while the men had mats with cushion.
What they would do, these weird women, they would have fights. And then the women would start arguments and try to scheme to get me put out of the shelter. For example, they'll start arguing, they'll do something to me. And then I said, "Ma'am, I don't want to argue with you." I'm calling security like they're mentally ill, but it's a scam. And then security would come and say, "What did you do?" And I'll say, "She's cussing me out. Look, y'all aren't going to fight here. I'll put both of you guys out." It's that fear. Because they know if I get put out, there's nowhere I can go. So they stage one of these strange people to start an argument with me, and there's no kind of way that I can back out of the argument, and then they call other people in the scheme for the psychological distress. Someone else is cursing me out and arguing with me like on the train, but then they're making it, because they did it to me, they're involving me deliberately in malice. They won't take for my word in the camera footage that I'm being violated. They wanted to include me in the scheme. That way it can be about me. And that causes psychological damage, which is the point.
But we had to sleep on the bare floor. And it was really peculiar when Our Daily Bread took my sleeping bag, my pillow, and all my items, and towel and malice, and lied about it. Then I went to the bridge and they let people sleep with chairs. Then they stopped people from usage of the chair. I didn't have anything. I just had to sleep sitting up on concrete floor. I didn't have a blanket, anything. They're supposed to give people blankets and starter packs, but they deprived me of it.
And how are these people putting you in fear? I guess how is this? Do you know how to? Can you identify these people? Have you been face to face with these people? How are they communicating with you?
The people on YouTube.
Yeah, the ones that are stalking.
Well, here's the bizarre thing that it appears that something's wrong with my YouTube, because why would all of them be accomplices to crimes? No one on YouTube wants to help me. All of them pathologically lie. And if they're having you put out of hotels, restaurants, and listing accomplices into crimes, wouldn't that make you feel that your safety's at risk? If the police are coming to put you out of a hotel room at 1 a.m. because a YouTuber called them? If your shelter's putting you out because a YouTuber found the shelter and told them I recorded inside, but it was outside?
What police agency removed you from a hotel room?
Austin police removed me from multiple different police departments did it.
When was this?
The one in Austin was October 2023.
It was 2024.
No, October.
It was September, I believe, 2024.
Yeah, it was October 2024.
2024.
Yeah, it may have been
What
September.
hotel was it?
It may have been September. I have it recorded on the YouTube channel I gave you. And then they said,
what hotel was it?
Sonesta.
Sonesta?
Yeah, it's uploaded to YouTube.
Can you spell that?
Sonesta. Let me make sure.
Nesta.
Right.
Sorry, there's a wasp in here.
And do you know a rough, where that was? What road it was on, or highway, or anything, in case there's more than one?
No, I don't know right off now, but a police report was done. The hotel called, so apparently they claimed that the hotel called them, and I don't know what they hotel would call them about. They said a YouTuber found them.
Was there a charge given to you?
I don't know. All that stuff is hidden from me. They just told me to leave because the hotel, some kind of con with the hotel. And then the hotel tried to steal the hotel tried to defraud me out of funds, saying that I smoked weed and they weren't giving me my deposit back, and I had to upload videos. I don't smoke weed or even have a lighter on me. I told the police that.
Were you trespassing?
No, I didn't treat it like that all the time. I'm pathologically lied on. It derails my life. That's why I'm calling the police to report it. If the police department's coming at 1 a.m. and you're scared for your life to put you out of a hotel room, that's not safe. To a location you have just relocated to flee abuse.
Something like that is you would need to file a formal complaint.
Well, I'm just telling you why I don't feel safe, that I'm doing a report right now with you on how I'm being stalked and whatever these YouTubers lie to police about caused me to be put out of a hotel room at 1 a.m.
A very complex situation going on right now. Would you agree?
Well, the whole bottom line is I'm reporting stalking, and for some reason the police department has chose to rack up charges for themselves to keep me from doing reports. And you already stated that you wouldn't commit that crime. So the bottom line of it is I'm showing you a history of felony charges and multiple different other charges that people should have done. Felony crimes.
You're not showing me any evidence of stalking at all, actually. You don't even have a complaint that meets the elements of stalking. But you do have some issues going on that probably, that's why I explained to you whenever this conversation started, your definition of stalking, my definition of stalking, and the Penal Code's definition of stalking are all going to vary a little bit. And what you may think should be illegal may not be, and what you think maybe should be
legal. It's a crime, sir. I'm just not quite certain on why you can't see it. I've also received death threats. These people have also threatened me.
The only authority I have in a situation like this is to obey by what the Penal Code says. However, when you do talk about a lot of these things, even though it may not fit under the offense of your choice, be it stalking, it may be a different offense, it may be a different valid complaint. And that's what I'm trying to help you with.
Okay,
So
well,
we
you
don't-
did
we
say
don't
if someone
we
calls
don't
them,
look at-
I'm not
we're
able to
gonna
give you
look
the
at
evidence.
offense
That's maybe
and
why you have the
we have a
misunderstanding. I
sophomore
experienced this on
here.
calls.
And if we have a sophomore
That may be
here,
why
we
you have a
to try and find the
misunderstanding
elements
because I'm
so
not
that
able
we
to
can make it
speak.
fit. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make a situation fit an offense. That's not how that works. You need to give me the situation. We'll find an offense that fits.
Okay, so when they called at Motel 6, I'm not able to
So what
speak.
I'm trying to do is when I speak to you,
I think you're trying to tamper with evidence. That's a felony.
About things that happened in Austin in 2015 and whatnot.
That wasn't
2013,
2015.
2023.
2024?
There are 24 every year. There are things that we can do to address. So what we have is a whole.
I'm not able to tell you about the threats. I'm not able to tell you about the threats and the death threats, so you can realize that it is stalking.
We're gonna take this one bite at a time. There's a whole lot to bring.
But I need to tell you about the things that jeopardize my safety, and that would be included with you covering for felonies.
Tell me about everything, but we're gonna go through it.
But I would like to concentrate on the things that jeopardize my safety first, because that's been put on the back burner for 10 years.
I can't take a report from you if you're gonna shotgun all kinds of different information at me from different decades all at one time. It's not gonna work like that. So either you're gonna have to answer the questions I ask them, and then elaborate, and then let me ask more questions on your elaborations, and we'll take it one bite at a time.
Okay, can I ask a question real quick?
Do what?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so when I'm doing reports, I've noticed how people have redirected the call and try to use intimidation and control the topic by enforcing false reports on me. And a strategy they use is they say something that I didn't say, and they demand that we take that and not let me clarify on what I'm actually stating. CPS has done it. It's a strategy to tamper with evidence and commit crimes. So I'm telling them I didn't say any of that, and what they're demanding is if you don't let me speak and demand that I take the false report that they're putting in the file, demand that false statement from me, I'll either hang up or I'm not going to be able to help you if you don't let me make this false statement. Those are your choices. So what they do is they articulate their words and they say something that I didn't say, that threaten to hang up or not give me help to demand that I take that false report. So when I'm trying to correct them and say that's not what I said, they won't take it because they're trying to tamper with evidence. And this is what I've had to endure years. So I'm on the other end saying that's not what I said. You won't let me speak. So it enforces the false statement to not give me, it makes it impossible for me to give the report because they're deliberately trying to railroad the report and put something that I didn't say in the report. So then when that happens, then they deprive me of the ability to get the records.
We're wasting
That's
each other's
impossible
time right now.
Well, I don't think that someone trying to fight for their life and not wanting to get death threats and someone saying that I'm going to shoot you in the head, pour to poison the water supply, hit and runs, murders. I don't think that's a waste of time, but it's impossible for me to find people that don't feel the same way.
We're not talking about that stuff. You're talking
I don't know why we
everything
wouldn't.
but that.
Why would you not want to concentrate on something that jeopardizes my safety?
We're starting at one end and we're working our way through it. What else do you want from me?
I think I need the feds. I don't want to live in a society to where they allow someone to terrorize me and enlist others to do the same thing. But I'm trapped. And then they demand on these calls abuse, enforce crimes, and then demand lies. And if I try to go handle my business and get the lies straight now, law enforcement comes to enforce crimes. But nonetheless, how do you want to tamper with evidence today, sir? You've been getting away with it a decade. So what else? How did you want this report to go that makes you feel comfortable?
Well, okay. Let's talk about Austin real quick. Let's go back to that. APD removed you from a hotel room. You were not trespassing, and that happened, right? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, what have you done about that? Anything?
No. Can we talk about the threats that I had? Someone getting in the shower with me in Austin, people threatening to fight me, cursing me out, and I couldn't report that to Austin Police too. I recorded it. Then I was in jail with the same person. She was still threatening someone in the jail, keeping me up at night, scaring me out of my sleep. And this time she called that she was threatening someone that wasn't there, repeatedly saying, I'm going to kill you, B. You're going to die. You F with the wrong N-I-G-G-A. You snitch, B-I-T-C-H. We're going to get you. And I'm getting this all out of my waking up scared out of my sleep. You snitch, you rat,
So
you know what they do to rats.
Notice he don't want me talking about it.
That's the hotel, correct?
Because he already knows
No,
what
this was
the
in jail when I was in
behind
there
it.
for reporting death threats. I
So
was
what
in
they're
jail with the
doing,
same-
these false arrests are actually the torture. They're just putting me in lockdown and setting up people to do this. So they're monitoring me. That's why I have to stay up under the covers. I do it sometimes here. Because they take pleasure out of having me be startled out of my sleep. So when I cover my face, at least they don't have that satisfaction when it happens.
Person that threatened me outside of jail, and this has happened repeated pattern that people have violated me on the streets. I'm also in jail with to be violated.
Okay.
So she was furious and for cursing out.
Getting all sideways on that.
I don't know how to report someone threatening my life. I mean, it's been impossible.
You have somebody putting threats on your life, correct?
Right.
That's a pretty important topic. Let's start with that.
He said that was stalking, but you'll see what happens.
So, when did this happen?
It's been happening years. I got threats in Facebook that I would get weird things like a scent. I would buy new lipstick.
Last?
I want to give you a history. So I would buy a lipstick, and then I would get an email of something would be in my feed, which was lipstick and a bullet.
That's electronic harassment.
Or something, if I buy some new panties, then it would be something with a thread, like something like a knife laying on panties. Okay, so it made me feel that it was voyeurism crimes. And then someone admitted it, and then the police walked off while I was talking when I was trying to prove it to them.
Where did that happen at?
That happened in Atasca. That's when the thread started. But my son was hit with a car twice.
Okay.
My middle son, and it was mysterious.
Talk to me about things that have happened in Victoria.
Okay, I thought you asked me when it was all started, and when you found out it was dangerous, you tried to redirect the conversation.
That's the other part that I asked about, the stalking. I'm asking about...
But you don't want to know about a child getting hit with a car. That's not important? Because it wasn't important because they lost the report.
Has it been reported already?
But I'm giving you don't you connect with all the departments? Because if a child safety is at risk.
No, I don't. I do not do that.
Well, then you would be committing a crime because you're supposed to connect with all jurisdictions to obtain all the evidence.
Hey, I'll do my job, and then you just tell me the information that I need, okay?
You did say where it started, and when you found out it was a hit and run, you didn't want to touch that topic because you could hear it was dangerous. So then you want to redirect it. So now what would you like to talk about?
I never even spoke to you about a hit and run. So what
Two hit and runs from this one child.
Things that you're going to talk about that have been they've already been reported, and B, they're not even in my jurisdiction.
So I would like to elaborate. I didn't know I was targeted. So a lady called me and said that it was an accident with my son that didn't make sense. So I didn't know, and then how would she get my number? It was just weird. Then she sounded like she was lying. So then I was out with a guy. So I get back, and then he got hit. The same child got hit with a car when I was out with another guy 2 days prior. It was like it felt like someone was doing something and didn't like me being out with men, but I didn't know anyone. So nonetheless, so I was out with the guy, and then she calls and says that my son, I took him to the hospital. His head was huge. And for a while after that, he had seizures, and I had to take him to Children's. So the second hit and run, he said it wasn't a big deal. His knee was bleeding. But my family knows that I'm targeted and won't be honest about what's really happening. And that's really scary. And my sister behaved peculiar. Some things went on in her bathroom. And then she busted open the door. And there was peculiar things there. And you don't just bust up. I'm an adult. You don't just come in the bathroom. But she was trying to catch me and busted up in the bathroom and then knocked knowing I was in there. And the door was locked. And she came in there anyway.
So what I want to do is focus on the things I can help you with, okay? Because apparently, like I said, you have a very complex situation going on.
It's a lot of insanity. That's something about
things that I can't.
I wouldn't call it complex. I would say that it's abuse. I think that it shows a pattern of me being terrorized, and people have just let me fall through the cracks deliberately. I think that's what it shows the history of, not complexity, but integrity issues and corruption and torment and someone being terrorized.
Let's start with the Victoria and the most recent thing that's happened to you.
Okay, so I reported to Austin Police and Victoria Police that someone was sending me death threats. They kept sending it. And then in the comments, like I said, they're slipping and telling me things that are going on in my environments that they should know. Then they're going around. They found my church, and they found this other location I was at, said they were going to shoot me in my head. Then they found this location. And like I said, I have reason to believe when these people find me.
How did they tell you they were going to shoot you in the head?
In an email.
In an email. Do you have that email?
I do.
Can you forward that email?
I forward it all over to people, and all they do is ignore me when they get the emails. We never go anywhere. No one has ever contacted me back regarding it. It says that the police department are bought off and paid in full. I'll never see law enforcement. They're going to protect him forever, and I'm powerless. I'm not able to tell you what the email says. Why you guys for 300 something plus reports or ignoring me.
Well,
it says that he said the email says that you were going to continue to.
The email contains evidence that would be useful in my investigation.
But I keep sending these emails and I never get a response to them.
Okay, so you sent the email that you're describing?
What's the email address?
V-S-C-H-U-S-T.
V as in Victor?
Do what?
V as in Victor?
No, B as in boy.
Okay.
S-C-H, my last name, you have it written down.
Can you repeat it again?
Okay, B as in boy, S-C-H-U-S-T-E-R-E-I-T at vctx.org.
So I'm not really understanding the relevancy of repeatedly sending these emails to spin my wheels and never getting a response.
Well,
Probably
the
true.
relevancy is you don't want to follow up with the case that you've already reported with another agency, which you actually should do instead of reporting it to me. You should follow up with who you've already.
I'm not being heard repeatedly over and over. I'm not really being heard. That's not what I'm communicating to you.
That was an unsatisfactory answer. So my suggestion is to call.
That's not what I'm reporting to you. I'm making a report right now. I'm making a report right now.
Getting a follow-up, then you need to speak to the investigator's supervisor.
You promised me that you wouldn't commit a crime. That's not what I'm reporting to you. I'm trying to do a report now and get a report number. You promised me that you wouldn't commit a crime. I've been on the line with you, 40-something minutes, and you said at the beginning of this call that you weren't going to play games and commit a crime. I haven't reported to another agency. I'm reporting it to you now.
I'm committing a crime. So you can try that again, and we can keep going around and around about me going to jail. That's not happening, okay? So
but I just was doing, if you don't take a police report that is tampered with evidence, and you do take that risk.
I'm not going to do this with you anymore. I've been patient, and we're done.
I don't have a report number. After all this time, you wasted 40 minutes, and I don't have a report number.
We're going to talk about an offense, or we're going to terminate this phone call.
I want a report number.
We're not going to do what you're doing. Okay? We're done with that.
I want a report.
In that group text, they had the same strategy. They blame me for wanting to be removed. I wouldn't, don't do it.
Where's the report number?
Blame me. That's what they said to me. Don't start.
Are you ready?
Yes.
2025-01700.
Okay, wait. 2025.
-01707.
2025-017-007.
Correct.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
When did you guys get so arrogant and just so sure that you'll never go to prison?
That's not what I'm doing.
Can you give me clarity on how, for call after call, how someone could be arrogant and take your freedom at church? You're police. I just wanted direction. I just wanted direction on why you guys, how you can, for profit, can become abusers and enlist armies into felonies.
Not the facts of what's going on. So.
That was a question. I don't know where to ask law enforcement how they got so arrogant and to commit crimes openly and think they'll never see criminal charges. I have a right to know what makes you guys so arrogant and then openly commit crimes, take someone's freedom at church for trying to report death threats and arrogance, steal their phone and perfume. What happened to your mind? What happened to your mind to make you be the way that you are? Go to school to serve, to say that you're going to serve and protect, and then chose with that oath to enforce crimes. What happened to you? Can you tell me what happened to you? To condone someone to be treated like that, even if it is for profit. What made you guys become the way that you are? Can you tell me that?
My answer for you.
You don't know?
You may not ask me a question.
Okay. I want to know because it affects my safety and the safety of a lot of other well-being of the other parties around me. Because if you enlist them to commit crimes, we are not safe to you guys.
You may not.
Hold on, we'll get to that. Power as being government officials and enlist parties into abuse and criminal activity.
Hey, I do have actual victims to speak to, so I'm going to have to terminate this phone call because we're not getting anywhere. But I have told you what you need to do to pursue the issues that you've already reported 30 to 40 times with other agencies.
It's not. It's I've reported different things 30 to 40 times.
I don't believe that this phone call is being constructive.
You promised me that you wouldn't tamper with evidence. I wouldn't have wasted an hour if I knew you were a criminal.
I do have a mental health team that I can send your way to come assess you.
I think that, dude, tell me where you're at, because if I have it all on, I think that you need one. You know what? In fact, I would like to send the FBI team to you to discuss some things with you.
Okay.
Can you direct me on how to get an FBI team to speak with you?
Are there any mental health services that you would like to receive?
If you could ask me that, I would like to focus on the FBI team, because I think that they need to see you.
Okay, well that's for you to do it, not for me to do.
Well, you can, if you can direct me to an FBI team, I'd like for them to come visit you.
They have my number.
Okay, I would like you to direct me to an FBI team so they can come visit you and you can discuss some things with you.
You're gonna have to look that up. I don't have their number.
Oh, you should as law enforcement. Hopefully you'll see them pretty soon anyway. I would like that.
All right. I look forward to it.
Me too. I definitely look forward. I would be my pleasure more than yours for you to see the FBI team.
Okay, Kim.
Yeah, with those suits on.
Wonderful day, okay?
You see, that way you can see how it feels to be put in handcuffs. Wouldn't you like that?
Okay, so you may not. Hold on. So I got this from nowhere at 10:01. Okay. It says Fort Worth. Today is the 1st. Today it is, the 30th. Okay. This just came up. I should have done this last. If you're receiving this email, your current application for the Housing Choice Voucher waitlist will be withdrawn effective today. You must apply during the 2025 enrollment period. Why would they just withdraw it for no reason? How does that happen? Repeatedly, year after year, over and over. But that's not why I came into my emails. Okay, no in-person church. You can watch via YouTube. It seems like there's a power struggle with someone basking in control that they can have over my life and tell me, and they can do it. In-person church for you. You think it's a joke. No, they're serious. You can watch it via YouTube. For you in your life, if someone told you something like that, you wouldn't believe it. You can't not put me out of church. No, they've done it. The police department arrested me at church. They're telling me you may not go to church in person. You can watch it via YouTube. Then I risk if it's altered and if they're saying things that are inappropriate. They change it knowing that you never believe the story. That's the harassment through the electronics. I'm tired. I've been going through this all morning since the bus deliberately left me.